Hi everyone, welcome to Friday Night Live. I'm your host, Crystal Fry, and tonight we are talking about confidence. Where does it come from? Is it a skill that you can learn? Is it just something that you're born with, and if you don't have it, then, well, you're never gonna have it? So that's our topic for tonight. And I want to go ahead and dispel the myth right now up front. Confidence is not something that you're necessarily born with. Some people are inherently more confident than others, but that has to do a lot with how they were brought up, what they were told as a child, whether or not they were told they could do things that they, put their mind to, or whether they were told that they couldn't. So confidence is a skill that you can learn. So if you're low on the confidence scale, if you don't feel real good about yourself all the time, take heart and know that you can do things. You can take steps to increase your confidence, to become that person who walks into the room who is very confident in who they are, who commands attention, not in a flashy sort of way, but who just quietly commands the respect and the attention of others through the confidence that they exude. So, your confidence has a lot to do with how you feel about yourself. If you feel like you are a person who, kind of has their stuff together, kind of knows what they're doing, if you're in that type of space, then you exude more confidence than if you kind of feel like your life is a mess and you do not know what your next step is going to be. Right now we're getting close to the holidays, and so I've seen a lot of stuff, funny stuff, people posting like, oh, hey, are you ready for the holidays? Like, no, I'm not even ready for today. So that plays in how you think about yourself, how you feel about yourself is it manifests itself outwardly in how much confidence you have, how much confidence you're able to show other people that you have in yourself. And here's a little tip here. If you don't have confidence in yourself, it's unlikely that other people are going to have confidence in you either, right? If you don't trust yourself, if you don't think that you can do things, why would other people think that you can do them either? Now, there are those occasions where people come into your life and you may not feel like you have a lot of confidence, and you may not feel like you're in a place where, you're comfortable with your skills, your abilities, or, your ability to do the things that you want to do, and someone will speak into your life. Someone will breathe that into your life that, hey, you know what? Yeah, you can do it. And a lot of times that is the catalyst for us to think, yeah, maybe I can do that. And that starts to build up your confidence. Taking risks, and I will say not silly, flagrant, risk where you're going to put yourself or others in danger, but taking calculated risks and trying new things is an excellent way to build up your confidence in yourself, because as you take those risks and you see successes coming from them, that tells yourself, that starts feeding the positive story coming into your mind, coming into your life, that you are capable. You are able to do things. You are able to succeed at something that you put your mind to. And that helps to build up your confidence. What you tell yourself has an enormous amount of impact on your confidence. If you wake up in the morning and you think to yourself, great, I wonder how I'm going to mess this day up. You are setting yourself up to, one, probably have kind of a bad day. Two, you're also setting yourself up to find your flaws. You're going to be subconsciously looking for them. And let me tell you what, if you're looking for them, you will find them. I promise. So if you're telling yourself that you don't feel good enough to do whatever, it doesn't even matter what the thing is, whatever the thing is, whether it's your job, whether it's your relationships, whether it is cooking dinner, doesn't matter what it is. If you go into it with the mindset that it's going to be a failure, that you're not going to do it well, that someone else is always going to do it better than you. Well, one, let me tell you, there is always someone who's going to do whatever the thing is better than you are. That's fine. They're in a different place than you are. But you can't allow that to impact whether or not you are going to step forward and do something. So as you're feeding your mind, you need to remember that what you tell yourself, your mind will believe. If you tell yourself that you're not a good cook and you never seem to be able to make a decent dinner, and so you don't even know why you bother, you don't even know why you try, guess what? You're not ever going to be a culinary master in the kitchen. And now that's not to say that you shouldn't recognize certain limitations. We all have certain limitations, and that's not a big deal. But if you go in with the mindset that it's going to be bad, you are exponentially increasing the likelihood that that's the outcome you're going to get. So feed your mind, and this is a daily, hourly practice. Pay attention to what thoughts are coming up. Pay attention to what you're telling yourself. When you're faced with, and I guess we'll just stay with the cooking example for a couple more minutes. If you're faced with a new recipe, if you go into it thinking, all right, I'm going to burn it. This is going to be bad. It's always bad. That's the way it is. You've already written the story. You've already determined the outcome. But if you go into this with a mindset of, okay, this is something new, or maybe it's not something new. Maybe it's something you've tried before and you have failed at. What can you take away from that? What lesson can you take away from that so that you can do it better the next time? If you walk into it thinking, all right, we've got this, we're going to do the best that we can, we're going to make it come out, we're going to make it happen, we are going to make this great. And when I say we, you're essentially talking to yourself, me. But if you go into it with that mindset, you've already increased your chances that you're going to have a more positive outcome because of how you have set the stage within your mind. So how you feel about yourself, what you think about yourself, and what you tell yourself, those two things have a really big impact on your confidence level. Another thing, here's my other little point about your confidence. And stay with me because this may seem or may sound slightly shallow. It might sound a lot shallow to some people, and that's okay. But how you look has a big impact on your confidence. And I don't mean how you look, the other people's opinion of how you look, your physical appearance. I mean how you feel about the way you look. Some people have a very, very unique style, and I love people who have a super unique style. I think it's awesome, especially when it's a little more bold, maybe a little bit more out there than your typical style is. I love people who are bold and who embrace what their personal preferences are and what they love about themselves, and they put it out there for other people to see. I think that is fantastic, and those people have confidence in themselves because, one, they love the way that they look. That is your own personal opinion. That is your own thought, your own feeling about the way you look. If you like pencil-thin eyebrows and you think that pencil-thin eyebrows make you look sexy, rock it. If you like really big, thick, bold eyebrows, rock it. It's all about how you feel about that. Whatever that thing is, whether it's, I don't feel comfortable, I don't feel comfortable with this particular part of my body. So, okay, that's fine. If you don't feel comfortable with that particular part of your body, I promise you, if you go look on Google, if you go look on something, you can find a way to dress in such a, whatever clothing, shape, fit, all of that kind of stuff, to minimize what you're not wanting to bring attention to and highlight, accent something that you are, that you do want to bring attention to. And so that, the way that you look, it's not about how other people think you look. It's about how you think you look and what you are comfortable with. When you feel like you look good, you strut. You walk a little bit more confidently. Your shoulders go back a little bit. You stand up a little bit taller. You don't care what other people think about you because you know that you are rocking whatever it is that you happen to be wearing that day. Whether it's sometimes it's something as easy as a piece of jewelry. Sometimes it's a bold piece of jewelry. Sometimes it's a lipstick color. Sometimes it is a certain way that you do your hair. If you really love the way that you look, you will love the way that you feel. And that will boost your confidence. Just little things like that. So if you're struggling with how you look, if you're struggling with a particular area of your look, play with it. Try out something new. Do something different. I absolutely love women who are able to pull off like the perfect cat eye eyeliner. I am not one of those women. I would love to be one of those women, and maybe one day I will devote a little bit of time to watching some, YouTube tutorials on how to do that and try not to poke myself in the eye. But I think it's beautiful. I think it's gorgeous. As you can see, I do not have that. But that's because I have not spent the time to learn how to do it either. So obviously it's not that important to me. I do certainly appreciate it. And like I said, one day I might figure out how to do it. But for the women who do that, they've taken the time to watch the video or to practice or to, spend half a day in the mirror figuring out exactly how to do it because they love the way it makes them feel. They've taken the time, they've invested the time in themselves to improve the way that they feel about how they look, which has skyrocketed their confidence. What about, the way that what about your wardrobe? If you're not happy with your wardrobe, try some different things out. There are people who can help you with that. One day I might get one of those too, because I'm very excited about, that idea. But again, I personally am not in a place where I'm ready to devote the time to that. So, but I do pay attention to, certain things in my wardrobe. I do know that there is one part of my closet that looks absolutely fabulous. And every time I put these things on, I know that I am going to walk a little bit taller. I know that I am going to, walk into the room and command the attention because I look great and I know I look great and it makes me feel fantastic. And that's not coming from a place of conceit. It's coming from a place of confidence because I feel good. And when I feel good, that makes me look good. And that just jumps everything up for me. And when you look good and you feel good, you'll also notice how you talk to yourself sounds a little bit differently too. So your feelings about yourself, the messages that you are telling yourself, what you're talking to yourself about, and your look. And again, this is your own personal look. It's not about other people and what they think about the way that you look or what you're wearing. It's about how you feel about it. And I'm going to drag all of this, I'm going to package all of that up really, really nicely and put a little bow on it and go just a little deep on you here. All of those things stem from your level of love that you have for yourself. When you love yourself, you talk to yourself in a much more pleasant tone, and you say things that are much nicer to yourself than when you don't. When you love yourself, you look at yourself differently. And I can tell you that honestly because I have gone through that. I look at myself much differently now than I did even a year ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago. Good grief. There are so many different things that have changed in my life that have brought me to a place where I can appreciate and I can love myself. And I'm grateful for those things. But if you're in a place where no matter what you do, even if you look good, you're still telling yourself that you're not good enough. You know, even if other people give you compliments and you don't feel it, that's all coming from inside of you. That all has to do with your relationship with yourself. And your relationship with yourself is more important than your relationship with other people, because you have to live with yourself for the rest of your life. You may or may not have to live with those other people, but you are always going to be spending time with you. So I would advise that you take some time to really kind of dig in and see how you feel about yourself. And if you're in a place where that's not, maybe not as good as you would like it to be, then let's do something about it. You have the choice. The greatest gift God ever gave anyone, all of us, is the freedom of choice. We get to choose what goes into our minds. We get to choose what we allow. We get to choose what we tolerate. We get to choose how we react to things. We get to choose. So if you're in a place where you're not feeling it, choose to feel differently. Choose to find a different path. Choose. Don't just sit there and let it happen to you. Do not be a victim. Choose. It's your choice. It's totally and completely up to you. Your confidence level comes from how you feel. You get to make the decision on how you're going to feel. Your confidence level is impacted by the way you look. You have complete control over that. You can choose how you want to look, how you want to express yourself, how you want to show the world who you are. Your confidence level is impacted by what you tell yourself. And you have the greatest choice in what you tell yourself, because that all happens in between your ears. And no one else can tell you or make you feel a certain way. They can do things, and that can, that can bring up certain feelings, but you get to choose whether or not you're going to sit in those feelings, whether you're going to, really kind of let someone else's actions impact and take your control away from your emotions and how you feel, or whether or not you are going to be in complete control of the expression of your emotions. That's actually one of my affirmations that I write down every morning. I am in complete control of the expression of all my emotions. And I had to do that. I had to put that on paper for myself, because I was not always in control of my emotions. I definitely would react instead of think about the situation and choose my reaction. Sometimes I would just let it fly, whatever it was. And I didn't want to be that type of person who was not in control of my emotions and what I was allowing to come out of me. I wanted to be in control of that. And so, as a reminder for myself, as a way of making sure that I'm feeding myself the things that I need to feed myself, that's one of my affirmations every day. So feel free to steal it if you'd like. I don't mind. Anyway, so we're going to wrap up. And remember that your confidence comes from how you feel about yourself, how you look, what your look is, how you feel about how you look. And it comes most importantly from what you're telling yourself. So tell yourself good things, because you are an awesome, amazing person. You wouldn't be hanging around on the planet if you weren't. No one would have wasted their time if if you weren't worth being here. So take some steps to improve your confidence if that's what you need. And if you're in a good place with your confidence, fantastic, rock out. But I will remind you, it's a practice. You don't just get there and now you're there, you've arrived, and now you don't have to do anything else. You have to continue to feed yourself those good things. You have to continue to pay attention to your feelings about yourself and make sure that you're checking yourself periodically. So, and every once in a while, it's fun to find a little something new to kind of spice up the way you look too. So, anyway, until next week, thank you all for joining tonight, and I'll see you next week.